My mission since Oscar's murder has been to highlight police terrorism with the world and to never forget the tragic murder of Oscar Grant, Aiyana Jones, just 7 years old, Andrew Joseph, 14 years old, Kendrick Johnson, 17 years old, Katherine Johnson, 92 years old, and of course, Monroe Isidore, 107 years old. And so many others, that their lives matter and that they all had a right to life. Remember this: the dead cannot cry out for justice. It is the duty of the living to do so for them. When justice is denied to one, justice is denied to all.
I'm here to tell you that in order for the Freddie Gray family to get justice, I'm gonna tell you what happened in Oakland, California, so that you can understand what it's gonna take. The community in Oakland embraced us, they loved us, they stood with us, they cried with us, they went back and forth to court with us, but most importantly, they utilized their First Amendment right to speak to their very injustice and what they saw happen to Oscar on that platform. And because of that, for the first time in California state history, listen to what I'm saying. For the first time in California state history, an officer was arrested, charged, convicted, and sent to jail.
You need some more? You need some more?
And he cannot be the only one. Baltimore, we're gonna make it happen here. This is what this is about. You're not here to compromise. Those officers was wrong. Freddie Gray should be living today, and they all need to be charged, convicted, and sent to jail.
That's right. What happened in Ferguson was not an isolated situation. That's right. What we have to do is ask ourselves this question: what is the role of the police? Is the role of the police here to serve and protect the people? Yes. Or are they here to serve and protect the state? It's the same state.
Frantz Fanon once said, each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill that mission, or betray it. Graduating class of 2015, what is your mission? To lay the foundation of what I believe is your mission, I must quote one of my favorite giants, Frederick Douglass' speech: if there is no struggle, there is no progress. Quote, the struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, or it may be both, moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. To find out just what any people will quickly submit to, and you have found out the exact measure of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them until these will continue until they are resisted with either words or blows or with both. The limits of a tyrant are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress. In light of these ideas, Negroes will be hunted at the north and held and flogged at the south, so long as they submit to those devilish outrages and make no resistance, either moral or physical. Man may not get all they pay for in this world, but they must certainly pay for all they get. If we ever get free from oppression and wrongs heaped upon us, we must pay for their removal. We must do this by labor, by suffering, by sacrifice, and if need be, by our lives or the lives of others, unquote. Now, in light of this quote, your babies will be hunted in the east and the west, the north and the south, imprisoned in this country so long as you submit to those devilish outrages and make no resistance. They will be murdered as if their black lives has no meaning as long as you submit to those devilish outrages and make no resistance. Their freedom and life must be claimed by labor, suffering, sacrifice, and if need be, by your very own lives.
That's right.
Listen, cowards ask the question, is it safe? Expedience asks the question, is it political? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor political nor popular. But one must take this simply because it is right. Dr. Martin Luther King said this. Hear what he's saying. This is why Assata Shakur call is so critical at this stage of your renaissance. What is her call? It is your duty to fight for our freedom. It is your duty to win. You must love each other and protect each other. You have nothing to lose but your chains. What does she say? It is your duty to fight for our freedom. It is your duty to win. You must love each other and protect each other. You have nothing to lose but your chains. Your first step in building this renaissance is to stand at the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March to be held this October 10th, 2015 in Washington, D.C. This, I say, will be a historical event as we stand in unity. Our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb. Our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb. This pledge will represent the foundation of your unity. So I'm going to ask the graduates if you will stand with me. That's right, that's right. Clap it up for them. So graduates, when I say your name so your ancestors can hear it. Say with me, please. I. Say your name. Pledge from this day forward. I will strive to love my brother and sister as I love myself. I say your name. From this day forward, will strive to improve myself spiritually, morally, mentally, socially, politically, and economically. For the benefit of myself, my family, and my people. I say your name. Pledge that I will strive to build businesses, build houses, build hospitals, build factories, and then to enter into international trade for the good of myself, my family, and my people. I say your name. Pledge from this day forward, I will support black newspapers, black radio, black television. I will support black artists who clean up their act to show support for black artists. Brothers only. Brothers, say your name. Brothers, say your name. Pledge from this day forward, I will never abuse my sister by striking her, disrespecting her, for she is the mother of my children and the pursuit of my future. Everyone, I say your name. You do all this, so help me God. Have a seat. That's right. This pledge is the foundation of your renaissance. In closing, I believe your generation is the greatest this world has ever seen and had. That's right. No longer can you just think of yourselves, but now you must think of us. It is your duty to fight for our freedom, to make this world a place for your children that they will have a right to life and freedom. This I say, will be your renaissance and your overwhelming responsibility. Let your future educational goals and mission reflect your revolutionary consciousness of creating that renaissance the history scholars will write about. I believe when the history books are written in the future generations, these historians will have to pause and say, there lived a generation of black 2015 graduates here at Cal State East Bay who had the moral courage to stand up for their future. Generation rights of freedom, justice, and equality, and thereby injected new meaning and dignity into the veins of black consciousness. This, I say, will be your renaissance. We, the Oscar Grant family, me specifically, Uncle Bobby, love all of you and now pass you the baton to build your renaissance. Once again, it is with deep honor and appreciation to stand before you and give your commencement speech. Class of 2015, get up, get out there, and take your rightful place among the stars. Thank you. We love you.
Uncle Bobby Johnson.
Mentally, socially, politically, and economically. For the benefit of myself, my family, and my people. I say your name. Pledge that I will strive to build businesses, build houses, build hospitals, build factories, and then to enter into international trade for the good of myself, my family, and my people. I say your name. Pledge from this day forward, I will support black newspapers, black radio, black television. I will support black artists who clean up their act to show support for black artists. Brothers only. Brothers, say your name. Brothers, say your name. Pledge from this day forward, I will never abuse my sister by striking her, disrespecting her, for she is the mother of my children and the pursuit of my future. Everyone, I say your name. You do all this, so help me God. Have a seat. That's all. This pledge is the foundation of your renaissance. In closing, I believe your generation is the greatest this world has ever seen and had. That's right. No longer can you just think of yourselves, but now you must think of us. It is your duty to fight for our freedom, to make this world a place for your children that they will have a right to life and freedom. This, I say, will be your renaissance and your overwhelming responsibility. Let your future educational goals and mission reflect your revolutionary consciousness of creating that renaissance the history scholars will write about. I believe when the history books are written in the future generations, these historians will have to pause and say, there lived a generation of black 2015 graduates here at Cal State East Bay who had the moral courage to stand up for their future. Generation rights of freedom, justice, and equality, and thereby injected new meaning and dignity into the veins of black consciousness. This, I say, will be your renaissance. We, the Oscar Grant family, me specifically, Uncle Bobby, love all of you and now pass you the baton to build your renaissance. Once again, it is with deep honor and appreciation to stand before you and give your commencement speech. Class of 2015, get up, get out there, and take your rightful place among the stars. Thank you. We love you.
Uncle Bobby Johnson. Turn over the mic to him.
Hello, everyone. You know, from my sister, myself, and our family, first we want to say thank you for supporting the Oscar Grant family here at the Oscar Grant Plaza. We truly, from our heart, thank you. You know, on 10/23, the train operators of BART wore their uniform here, right here at this plaza, to stand with the family and the community to speak to the injustice that they witnessed, as well as all of you, when it came to the murder of Oscar Grant. You know, that was tremendous because what it helped and showed was how the community and the labor or the union workers could come together and bring about a change that we see when we see it happening in the community in a wrongful way. So we as a family, as a community, stand with you, the union, to not allow BART to dehumanize or to dehumanize you and criminalize you for taking a stand for your right for better contracts. We speak to this sincerely from our heart because, as you know, Oscar was dehumanized, he was criminalized, and he was demoralized, and now we're witnessing you, the workers, that here provide the transportation that we need in our community being dehumanized, again, criminalized, for taking a stand for your rights. So we stand with you, this community, that's the Grant family, in hopes and prayers and in solidarity that we all working together in one unified front can get justice and a great contract for yourselves. And we hope that you continue to support us, families that are out there in the streets that are still suffering the wrongful act of criminalized police in our community. We know that becomes a touchy subject, and I do want to say this. We know that all police are not bad, but those good ones, we expect to tell on the bad ones, because if the good ones do that, we'll rid ourselves of all the bad police officers that exist. So, again, the community stand with you and support with you to bring about a better contract for yourselves. So let's all unify and make this happen. Thank you. Power to the people. Power to the workers. This is a Million Workers Marching shirt that I have on today. Stand with you.
I'm told I started screaming, although I really don't remember. And scream, please tell me she's okay. Tell me that she's not dead. In that instant, that one instant, our world, our future, and our joy was gone. For those who say background checks are an inconvenience, let me say this. Burying your 24-year-old daughter is an inconvenience. And I will trade you happily for the inconvenience of going through a background check. We must do all we can in this society to keep firearms and ammunition out of the hands of dangerous people. Please help us pass this bill. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. All right, we out here for a Vigilance March. We need to hear your voices. My name is Maggie Scott. I'm the Executive Director for Healing for Our Families and Our Nation. I'm from San Francisco. I'm the chapter leader for Mothers in Charge, a group of mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and wives across this nation who have lost loved ones and children to gun violence. I just became the Brady San Francisco chapter president, which is an honor because they're doing such great work, and we can't do this work alone. We need all of us to be involved in this. I lost my youngest son, George C. Scott, in 1996 to gun violence. He was trying to stop a fight between two of his friends over a gold chain. He was a peacemaker in between two people, and the gunman pulled the gun, and my son caught all 4 bullets and died instantly on the scene on July 17, 1996. The very next day, July 18, was my 5-year-old grandson, his son. It was his birthday. That was his birthday present. Your father had been shot and killed. He had to come home that year from summer camp. It was devastating, and it's still devastating to this very day. In 2007, I lost my nephew, Timothy Scott, to gun violence. In 2012, I lost my niece, Keisha Walker, to cyberbullying. She jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge because she was cyberbullied over the internet. So violence is very personal to me. It has been for the last 20 years. We believe that each one, reach one, and teach one. Violence is all of our business. I don't care if you haven't even lost a child yet. It is our business. It is all of our business. It's about all of us and none of us. It's time to stop the killing and start the healing now. Too many of our babies are dying. We're tired of going to funerals. We want to go to graduation, not funerals. We have to hold our leaders accountable. We have to continue doing the work with legislation about background check and mental health, and work with our law enforcement community to make this better. We need better victim services. We need to take the money out of the death penalty and put it up for victims, and for our children, and for schools, and take for jobs and housing. We're trying to get a safe house in San Francisco for our families, because when this happens to a family, the mother has nowhere to go. She has to go back to her same community where her child was hurt. And then the family's harassed and attacked. That's unacceptable. We need a safe house like they have for rape victims.
He's gonna come
and
up here,
domestic violence victims. So I urge you, when you put the legislation forward, that you look at it and that you vote on this legislation. Because we need safe houses for our families. We want to build schools.
I got one more.
We want to build up our communities. Okay? And it's time. Each one must reach one and must teach one. Let's stop the violence now. Let's stop the violence now. Let's stop the violence now. Let's stop the killing and start the healing. God bless you.
Is it me?
You, Bobby.
Oh, me?
He said me.
Well, hello, everyone. Yes, first, I am affectionately known to the community as Uncle Bobby. I am the uncle of Oscar Grant, the young man that was portrayed in the movie Fruitvale Station.
Yes, sir!
You know, gun violence is gun violence, period. Whether it comes from a community member or a police officer, still we have a teary-eyed mother that has to be recognized as a victim that has suffered the same pain as anyone else that has lost a loved one. And so I have with me today many families like Oscar. Children has been murdered. We have the Ernest Duenas family from Antigua, California here standing with me. We have the Alan Bluford family here standing with me. We have a good friend of ours, Tracy, who lost her 2 sons within a 3-week time period. A mother who has just actually become a part of this family of victims. We have a mother that has come from Dallas, Texas, to come to share this event with us. And I do want to say, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, in solidarity with us here at the state capitol today, is also standing at their state capitol. We are at a state of emergency. As we see in our community, many children, again, whether they die at the hands of another young man, woman, or child, or whether they die at the hands of these rogue police officers that do exist in our community, We are at a state of emergency, and this issue has to be addressed. An injury to one is an injury to all. You hear what I'm saying? An injury to one is an injury to all. So let us all stand together. Let us all speak to this injustice that we see happening throughout our community. Let's embrace those families that have lost loved ones, because we as a family know that had it not been for the community embracing us, loving us, standing with us, praying with us, even going back to court with us, and standing there to speak to the very injustice that they witnessed, whether it be a community violence or, again, police violence. We know had it not been for you, we as a family wouldn't even been able to get into court in hopes to get some form of justice. So we want to thank the community for being here. I mean, this is important, and we got to spread this to all our fellow community members so that they can be here next year speaking to the very issue of the pain that we are suffering in our community when it comes to gun violence. Thank you.
Come on, team.
Hey, Rudy.
Yeah, she knows about the
I'm fine.
Great words, brother. Strong words.
beautiful, beautiful. Beatrice, get up there when I go by.
Well, good afternoon. Once again, we are here to join you. So we're very pleased to be here, and I just want to thank all the organizations that put this together, and Debbie Wallace, who has been so instrumental in helping us, victims, survivors, all the way come on a bus for the second
This is my
year.
nephew and this is my niece. That's Oscar
Awesome
Grant's
work,
uncle
Debbie
right here.
Wallace. We work well together. I'm Debbie Aguilar, and I'm from Salinas, California.
Gee.
This is my son. He's here somewhere. There he is. Stephen Aguilar. Murdered in 2002. In response to the murder of my son, what the enemy thought that was going to destroy me was wrong.
You know what I was supposed to do, and I didn't do. I'm at to talk about the healing circle for us to all go to the corner. I don't know how I'm going to get everybody over there.
Okay, yes. Needless to say, we have lost a lot of loved ones. Salinas, California, Monterey County has no shortage of gun violence, I give you that. It's sad, but we have brought a bus full, 56 passengers, more wanted to come.
You had them in the
and they're
speakers,
still
right?
calling.
Pardon me?
But
You
I
had them
wanted
in the
to say,
speakers.
thank
You
you
know,
all
there's
for
one thing.
putting
A lot
this
of
on
families
for us.
wanted to do a healing
And,
circle, and I forgot to mention
like I
that.
said, there's a time
We
for
was going to
grieving
walk
and
over here
healing.
and just
There's
kind
a
of
time to
join
grieve
hands.
and a time to heal.
Just kind of have a moment of
Time
silence
to
for the
heal.
families. But I
Time to
didn't mention
rise
it, so
up.
they won't know
We
where to
want
go.
to
Is it
help
possible you can
get
mention that
there.
for me?
You want
I
to
will,
find out more about us? Go to our
close it out. I'll
website
ask
at
her to mention
A Time for
Okay.
Grieving and
Just say
Healing, Salinas,
Uncle Bobby will be
California,
meeting over here
or
for healing circle.
Facebook Debbie Aguilar. Find out what we are doing in our communities. We are speaking. We are going into the institutions. We are going into the church because I am a born-again Christian and God has made me a mission. And that mission is going to be fulfilled. That mission is going to be fulfilled. And we have
At the end.
strong.
Okay.
We are an army. We are strong. So I just want to say thank you all. And just know that there was a time to grieve and there was a time to heal. Those tears must roll before you see the beautiful flowers bloom.
What's that?
And I look forward to seeing you next year. And I got one person that wants to say
What I'm going to
something.
do, what she's going to let me do at the end is ask the families that want to have a healing circle. We're going to go to the side.
We're gonna okay, together. Ashley Jimenez, my sister in Christ, part of the Army. Together, we are strong. Come on, group. Together, we are strong. Justice for all. Thank you.
Right, brother. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're going to send that information out when Cornell comes up to me. And
I have a
then
nephew
I brought
that
that
lives
attorney,
right here in
Mark Marin,
Sacramento,
onto the
who was
police,
shot at
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
somebody was just
a
telling me
home
that, too.
invasion.
Yeah, so
Okay, good.
And he was shot several times, and he lived.
Okay.
He is in a
So,
wheelchair
and they was with the
today, and he's
ACLU when they actually
24
brought it
years
into
old.
existence.
I'm here to speak on behalf of survivors of the actual violence that occurred. We have to realize that just like there are deaths all over this zone,
Now, you out
there
here
are
in Sacramento,
also
right?
other
Yeah, I
people
gotta
who've
get,
also
you know,
been shot who somehow survived. And they are made
with us today. I went through the SCLC.
Some of them have been denied 1 inch of their life.
And we started
What I want to say to you is that here
almost got New
we are
York.
today
It was
with
a little
a
like we
family
was just in New York. We just got back last night.
Their son was gunned down in San Francisco. And his name is Alejandro Nito. And Neto, that's why I want to make sure. His father is here.
That's right.
31st
And his
to
family.
the 31st of
His son was actually a Buddhist.
Okay.
He was a peaceful person.
my
He was
group and
loved and
I'm
respected by the
Pilot 3.
Hispanic
So everything is around
and he
social
was actually
issues,
going to junior college to be a probation officer.
inequality,
So what I want you to know is that
That's what
we
Stephen
all
Payan
need the healing.
and Andy
I want you to realize that our agency is very true. We actually do grief and loss counseling.
Okay.
And what I want to say to you to the survivors, that they will need the healing. And what happens with that gun, the gun is the last step. But they have been abused, they've been physically abused, sexually abused, they have histories of PTSD. Our foster children now, actually the majority of these, 80% of the foster children actually have gun violence history. Some of these babies have actually been there when the murder occurred. They have siblings who have died, they have aunts and uncles. And the reality is these babies are totally hurting. And the reality is that we, as the state of California, we need to take these steps.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to go back up and announce the healing circle we're going to have. We're going to have a little healing circle to the side over there. Maybe you can open it up in prayer.
And the fathers, in terms of incarcerated parents, to actually get back to their children. These babies, they need love. We all need love. And that's the only way that we're going to stop this violence. Please, please, vote and stand behind legislation that will help bring dollars to the community that desperately needs it. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you.
My name is Adriana Camarena. I live in San Francisco. I am accompanied.
Romaine Brisbane, Michelle Cusseau, Trayvon Martin. Before all that, there was Oscar Grant.
That's right.
We all know what happened there. This has been a long struggle, a long walk towards justice. So I'm pleased to bring you Oscar Grant's Uncle Bobby to have words with us.
Uncle Bobby!
He's here with us today. We're not alone. First, let me definitely send my condolences to the family. You know, we are standing with you. We want you to know that and definitely praying for you. And we understand the road to justice. But I want to say, for those who may not know who I am, I'm affectionately known in the community as Uncle Bobby. I am the uncle of Oscar Grant. Oscar's mother, Wanda, is my baby sister. So those who may not know who Oscar Grant is, on January 1st, 2009, he was the young man on the Fruitvale Park platform on New Year's Day with his hands behind his back. Officer stands up, shoots him in the back. But I need to make this clear so that you can hear how significant and important this is that you're here today. Had it not been for the community standing with us, crying with us, going back and forth to court with us, and utilizing your First Amendment right to be here today, as you were when Oscar was murdered, saying, no justice, no peace. Hear what I'm saying? We as a family would not have been able to make that long journey walk to justice. And because you did that for the first time in California state history, hear what I'm saying. For the first time in California state history, an officer was charged,
That's right.
convicted,
That's right.
and sent to jail.
That's right. That's right.
So it can be done.
That's right. That's right.
This is just the beginning. It's going to be much more swelling as we continue to speak to this very injustice of what happened to Romaine and his family and that murder that took place.
And others.
That's right. So listen, I understand that Phoenix have had one officer actually arrested for the murder of, I believe it was Daniel Garcia.
Yes.
We had help in that because there was an officer that turned state evidence and began to tell on really what happened. I don't know all the details of the case, but however, we don't have that help today. So this walk is our walk. Come on. This walk will become a realistic walk as we begin to really unite our young people in this community.
That's right. Get the young
Because
babies.
our young people are going to be the leaders of this movement.
That's right.
So I reach out to you to continue to speak to them and bring them out. Because the more of them that we see on a national level, the more bigger the swell on an international and national level is going to get. We know what happened to Michael Brown.
He was in Ferguson.
We know what happened to Oscar Grant.
That's right.
But let me say this, and Eric Gardner. Oscar had video. So listen, just because they're going to make the claim they're going to arm the police officers with video cameras, don't let that fool you, because it doesn't end there.
That's right.
We have to arm ourselves with these cameras. Because if it had not been for the cameras, you hear what I'm saying? Had it not been for the cameras of what happened to Oscar Grant on that Fruitvale Park platform, none of you would know who Oscar is today, and you surely wouldn't know who I am.
Our Fruitvale station.
So, whenever you see a loved one or someone accosted by the police here in Phoenix or throughout Arizona, take a moment out of your lives, step in a safe distance and record that. Because that may be the evidence, the best evidence that a family can have in speaking to the issue of their loved one being murdered. So I'm saying to you, we thank you. I mean, seriously, from my heart, we thank you. Because of that, I make sure that I go to every community that I can, all these young men on my shirt. We've done been with the families, we've done been with the communities, but the initial and most important call is community coming out, standing with the family, and pulling out your cameras and be arming ourselves. Because listen, we know the grand jury is broken, but if by chance we get an indictment from the grand jury, we still got to get past the district attorney.
Right.
Because many of them throw the case.
They sure
I can
do.
say case after case after case of district attorneys throwing the case. But then just say we get past the district attorney. We got the jury. And because of white supremacy and the biases that has been placed on many of us, even black, Latino, and white, we have a tendency to always rule in favor of the police.
No matter
That's why
what.
convictions are so rare. It really don't happen. But let's just say we get past the jury. And now we got to deal with the judge. If the jury comes back with a guilty verdict, like in our case, of the gun enhancement, which Johanna Mesley should have did 10 years, the judge will say he erred with his instructions to you. This is what happened in our case. That's why he only did 11 months. But Oscar's case is not the only case. I can cite many cases over and over. Matter of fact, the 2002 case here in Arizona when the white police officer killed the female for having a prescription bottle. They claimed that I guess she was trying to pass some false prescription or get some false. You know the case better than I do. I'm on the outside just studying cases all across this country, but I am clear that officer got off. You hear what I'm saying? And so it's over and over and over where judges overturn these cases when they're found guilty by the jury. But if we get past the actual judge, we still got the appeals court judge. And I can cite cases to tell you that this system is broken. We have to be steadfast in changing a system that has denied us for over 400 years, plus many others, the right to true justice. And the only way that's going to come is that we come out here and we speak to this issue. I am here from Oakland, California. My beautiful wife who's standing here with me is actually from Arizona, Phoenix. And her heart is really here. When this happened to Remain, she said, baby, we gotta go, we gotta go. And we got, soon as, I forget, I was at an event, Michael Brown. Matter of fact, we was doing an event with Michael Brown. That night after our event, Michael Brown got on the plane and flew home. I got in the car and drove here. I just want you to know that in the process of our march today, I'm looking forward to us doing a die-in. And if we do a die-in, let 4 minutes represent Michael Brown, and 28 minutes or 28 seconds represent Every 28 hours, a black man, child, or woman is going to be killed across the United States. So if we lay down, it's going to send a powerful message for 4 minutes and 28 seconds of what we're speaking to in this heinous act that we see across this country. So I say to all of you, let's continue to do this together. This is just the beginning, because there's people from all over this country talking about coming to Phoenix. So right now, we're connecting this on a national level. So let's just be vigilant. Let's understand the wheels of justice turn slow, but our persistency and our consistency will bring a change. Malcolm X, not Malcolm X, but Martin Luther King, it took 381 days. We're not tired, we're just getting started.
All power to the
We're not
people.
tired, we're just getting started.
All power to
So
the
repeat
people.
after me. Black lives matter.
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 All power to the people.
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 All power to the people. All right, all right, all right.
And one of the reasons why we're marching today
I thought this was our street. Right.
on the West Coast in Oakland, killed by Johannes Mesley, the police officer, on January 1st, 2009. One of the most important things my comrade here was speaking about was you having your cameras ready when you see an officer pull over a person of color.
Shoot back.
Had it not been for the community, none of us would know who Oscar Grant is today. If you don't know who Oscar Grant is, I suggest that you go home and Google his name. It was the first time in the state of California that a police officer was charged, arrested, and convicted.
Ever. That's right.
That is historical. We need to remember that because the opportunity exists for it to happen here. On January 1st, what happened was Oscar and his friends were detained. Oscar's dad was put on the ground. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but he was put on the ground, face down, hands behind his back. Officer Tony Peroni, 6'1", 250 pounds, had his knee on his neck, pushing his face through the concrete, pushing the whole side of his skull. His side of his face was crushed. Johannes Mesley, the trigger man, is 6'7", 270 pounds, was on Oscar's back. When he initially was thrown to the ground, his arms was underneath his stomach, and he was saying, I can't breathe, with 600 pounds of officer on your back. Now let's look at what his size is. Oscar is 5'10", 160 pounds. He had 600 pounds of officer on his back. When he was saying he couldn't breathe, Tony Peroni then switched his knees and put the other one on his neck, giving Oscar a chance to put his arms behind his back. Johannes Mesley then stands up. Look at the video. His hands was crisscrossed behind his back. They were not handcuffed, though it will look like it when you look at the video. It was handcuffed. His hands was behind his back, crisscrossed. Johannes Mesley stands up and execute him, shoot him center mass in the back. Had it not been for those people on that BART train,
Video,
what they had saw as a wrongful act by this rogue police officer, we would not know who Oscar Grant is today. And that's so important because that same night, there were 3 African-American young men shot in the back. Oscar Grant, 22 years old, shot in the back, face down, hands behind his back, died. Adolph Grimes in New Orleans, 22 years old, shot in the back 14 times, died. Same night, about 30 minutes after Oscar was murdered, Robbie Tolan of Perry, Texas, another young man, on the ground with his hands behind his back, crisscrossed, shot in the back, and he lived. The bullet is in his liver right now today. You know, I'm real passionate about this because we're dying unnecessarily in this community at the hands of these rogue police officers that has no right killing our children. And until we stand up as a people and speak to this very issue, it will continue and it will only get worse. Malcolm X Grassroots Report just put out a report on July the 6th, sharing with us, and they didn't even get all the statistics right, but the numbers is important for us to hear. From January 1st of this year until June 31st, 116 of us, black male or black female or black child, has been killed by the police officers. What they're telling us, every 36 hours, one of us is going to die at the hands of a rogue police officer. So it is real important that we take a look at the statistics. You cannot find any black officer or officer of color with statistics killing men of color or a white boy anywhere in the United States on a consistent basis.
No, it don't happen.
They do the same job. So we need to ask this question. If they do the same job and they encounter the same type of situations, why is it that they're not killing our young children, whether they be black, white, or brown? There is something wrong. There's a culture of racism and hatred that's being exhibited by this rogue or these rogue police officers that we must address. And it's really important that these police officers that know the wrongs that occur within their precinct actually become state evidence and tell on them. Because what's happening is that the people, the community, don't see any of them as any good. One bad apple spoils the rest. And our children, I'm talking about our babies, should not be afraid of police officers. Tatiana, 7 years old, when she see a police officer, she says, duck. Duck. These children are seeing this at such a rapid rate. Psychologically, they're being affected mentally. And until we address this as a people, come out in numbers, and let it be known that we will not tolerate it without standing up and speaking to this issue, and whatever it takes, we will do and seek to get justice. So it is really important to remember, it can happen. We can get justice. But if we sit silently and sleep on it and just say to ourselves, that brother that's pulled over there, what did he do? You know, don't say that no more, because he don't have to do anything wrong to be murdered by these rogue police officers.
Come on.
And so we got to speak to that issue on a regular basis. We will travel anywhere to support a family that has suffered the heinous act, that an egregious killing that we have suffered in a family, just like my good friend Frank Graham. We was in Chicago when we met Frank, and the pain of a teary-eyed mother brings tears to my eyes. And if we can't feel a teary-eyed mother cry when she loses, whether it be her only son or one of her sons, there's something wrong with us.
That's right.
We got to begin to feel this emotionally.
That's right.
And we got to get to a point to where we cannot sleep.
That's right.
We got to get to a point, young men, to stand up and become the maintainers of our community. We are the maintainers of our women.
That's right.
We have a responsibility to them. And we have a responsibility to protect our children.
That's right.
That is no ifs, ands, or buts. We have that responsibility, and the way I feel about it today, I will die. Let another one kill my mother. Let another one kill my sister.
That's right.
Let another one kill one of my child.
That's right.
Times has changed, and we got to begin to feel that and say no more. No more. No more. All this unjust killing that's happening in our community cannot be tolerated.
That's right.
It's happening at a rate that's unprecedented. We have the biggest prison institution in the world. 2.4 million men are locked up in this prison. Over 80% are black and brown men. We have more men today incarcerated than we have in colleges right now. We have over 1 million black men locked up and less than 150,000 in colleges. In 1980, before they instituted the drug war.
Crack.
Hear what I'm saying? Before they put crack in our neighborhood.
That's right.
Before they started selling guns to our children.
That's
And
right.
listen to what I'm saying, because this is real.
Yeah.
We had over 750 young black men in colleges across the United States. At that time, in the early 80s, we only had 150 brothers locked up.
50,000, honey.
150,000 brothers locked up. It has totally flipped itself and been reversed.
4 million.
This is not an accident. This is by design, and so it is important
Can we start
that you
killing
pull your
ourselves?
cameras out and you shoot back. Take those videos, because those videos will save a family a bunch of grief. And one of the most important things, and I'll say this and shut up, because I could go on with this, is Oscar. His very last picture. And none of us knew this, but this is how important it is. From the grave, he spoke to us. From the grave, he told me, Uncle, I didn't do nothing wrong. He took a picture of Joy Haynes Medley with the taser in his hand. They made the argument that he made a mistake. He pulled his taser out twice. And yet he died with a bullet in his back, and the officer talking about he made a mistake.
That's right.
His last picture showed the taser in his hand. Direct evidence that what happened on that platform was not an accident.
That's right.
It was not an accident.
It was murder.
That's how important documentation is when it comes to getting justice for our children. Thank God they had a camera there
That's
at
right.
Ramani Brown family house. Thank God.
Right. That's right.
But it doesn't end there.
That's right.
It does not end there. It's going to require us.
Stand up.
It's not to the swift. It's to who
right.
endures. We got to come out. The judge, that's what he did today. It's just a playbook that they go by because the whole thing is he's saying to us, I will make this case last 5 or 10 years until all of you go away. And then this family is standing by itself and looking for and nobody will know about it. We cannot let that happen.
That's right.
Had it not been for the family standing with us, crying with us,
Community.
praying with us, going back and forth to court with us, utilizing their First Amendment right to speak on our behalf for us, helping us come to understand that it could not be just us alone. It takes a community to bring about this change. And our hope and our goal is to begin to tie the knot with all the communities across the United States. Because it's not until a mass movement begins and we continue to see on a regular basis numbers growing. Trayvon Martin sent a message out to us. Ramani Brown has an opportunity to set a precedent here on the East Coast so that all families can see and believe that they can get justice. This is, and let's be clear about this, a racist criminal justice system.
That's right.
It is a racist criminal justice system. Let's be clear about that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the only way we're going to get through this is going to take us as a village. Thank you, I love you, and thank you for supporting my friends and family, because that's the only way they're going to get through this.
Brother Wisdom!